Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tyrone back with Tech Life. And T-Mobile has set some big goals for themselves. And a big part of that goal is they want to get into rural America. They've made that very clear, and they've stated that in a lot of the recent updates, business updates at the conferences that they spoke about. So a lot of people have messaged me recently saying, how is the carrier incentivized to do certain things and still be able to reap a very nice return on investment? For a lot of you have said for AT&T, it's really the FirstNet and then the government reimbursements that really incentivizes them to build a network and grow the network, which is completely fine. No matter how you do it, how you get it, the fact of the matter that it's being done. That's all you should really care about as a consumer. You just want them to get that coverage expanded. For T-Mobile, they're incentivized by home internet and fixed wireless. That's a large part of the reason why they're going into rural. They feel there's a lack in competition. The product that is offered in some of these areas just isn't up to par or standard, and they feel they can deliver a better product at a better price. So that's their really incentive to grow into the rural towns, smaller towns and areas, to shift people off of the ISPs that operate in that area. It might be a cable provider or it might be a satellite company, who knows? Whichever it is, T-Mobile is trying to compete effectively to gain that customer. Now, of course, they're also looking at conversion rates. If we can get that customer on home internet, they see that our home internet works, we may be able to convert that customer over to wireless. So there's kind of double the incentive. And then, of course, they would like to also pull some significant share from AT&T and Verizon that have been in those rural areas far longer at scale. So it's a big goal. Don't get me wrong. It's a very big goal. Here are some of the concerns that were voiced to me recently that some people have messaged me, emailed me saying, how is this going to work out? I would like to try T-Mobile in I'm in a rural area, but I'm not too confident. So that was kind of a back and forth conversation. So, why are you not confident? And some of them made some really good points. So if T-Mobile is incentivized to get into rural towns and bring home internet, fixed wireless, whatever the case may be, then the customer may want to try out the service. We all know T-Mobile is really good at marketing. It's very effective. So it'll get people's attentions and they may want to switch and try out the service. So a lot of the concerns from these customers or consumers that I received in the last few days is, if I get the service here in my area, am I still going to have continuous service commuting 15, 20 miles over to the next town to go shopping? That was the main concern. And I think personally, that's a very valid concern, because in some cases, it may be a hassle for that customer to switch from AT&T and Verizon. There could be, hey, we got to get everybody together. Some of the lines that are on the account, some of those people may live in another town over. We got to get them all together at the same time and switch over to another carrier. And, most of the time I recommend a test drive. Hey, get a prepaid SIM card, see if that works for you, or just use, T-Mobile's test drive just to make sure that there is coverage in all the places that you travel to, not just in your direct town that you live in, but if you go 15 miles to go shopping or whatever the case may be, make sure service is everywhere. That's the first recommendation I give to all. But again, there's areas, of course, far beyond that the customer may want to travel to that T-Mobile just does not have coverage, where previously they've known that AT&T and Verizon had coverage there. But some of these areas, they just don't travel too frequent. They might vacation there, or they may go to a cottage every now and then that they just can't check at that point in time. So you got to have 100% confidence that you're switching to a carrier that can serve all your all your needs. So there are some people that are still skeptical about switching to T-Mobile because they've tried it in the past potentially and they've had a bad experience, which is true. T-Mobile was not a rural competitor, but the expansion now, they might put up 2-3 sites in your town, but that still doesn't mean that they've expanded the network, over to the next town 15 miles or to your vacation spot or hangout spot. So that's kind of the feedback that I'm getting of people still concerned about that. Is that necessarily concern at the mass scale? Probably not. I'm not getting thousands and thousands of emails saying that. So I think it's still at least from what I'm seeing, it's still probably a small concern. But a lot of people are looking for alternatives. They want better service. T-Mobile thinks they can produce better results than the current situation that most of these consumers are in. So that's what they're really striving for, getting into rural. And you'll see it in this article. T-Mobile has big goals for enhancing connectivity in rural America. I will leave it in the description down below so you guys can check that out. So it's a ambitious goal to really go into rural America. It's going to cost a good amount. So I know T-Mobile is lowering the capex after next year. It's going to 9 to 10 billion. So again, you're not spending as much as your competition. So you're going to have to, T-Mobile's going to have to prioritize. They can't just say, okay, we're going to go all out on N41 or go all out on small cells. They have to prioritize money. They got to say, okay, we're going to take $2 billion, a chunk out, $2 billion worth, and we're going to put it into rural America. So that's kind of how they have to prioritize, because they're not spending a significant amount more outside of the merger synergies. So I've said it before in past videos, they really just combined the Sprint CapEx and the T-Mobile CapEx, called it a synergy, and they're building the network on that. So if it's not synergy backed, the model, they're not going to do it. They've stated that very clearly. And to be able to deploy the small cells at the size and scale that Verizon is, T-Mobile would likely have to spend money outside of the synergy-backed model. And that's right now, that's just not going to happen. That's why they're decommissioning the Sprint sites, the small cells, and they're only sticking to 50,000 small cells total. A lot of people have told me that some of the small cells that T-Mobile has been building, they don't really consider those a solid small cell versus what we're seeing with AT&T and Verizon, especially those Strand Mounts. So in reality, some are saying T-Mobile may only be building an additional 15,000 small cells that are, centralized RAN that you can actually attach millimeter wave on. The Strand Mounts, you really can't upgrade those. You can't add N41 on them, from what I'm being told. You can't put millimeter wave on them. It's really just whatever is there now, band 2, band 4, LAA. That's kind of what the Strand Mounts will be. They don't think T-Mobile will upgrade them or do anything with those. They'll just kind of leave those Strand Mounts where they're located. So for rural, again, they need to spend more. I believe at least 12, 13 billion to really get going on that. Will they get there? I think they do, but they have to really, really execute, and they have to do so very quickly because the competition is fierce. The C-band is in play. Verizon has 200 megahertz in some of these rural towns that T-Mobile wants to compete in. So Verizon will use 100 for backhaul and 100 on air. I mean, it's going to be fast. It's going to be very fast. So T-Mobile has the opportunity to go first to try to get that customer. But in some of these instances early on, as they convert some of these customers, Verizon may still have the better overall rural coverage beyond just in that person's house. So that may make the customer not want to switch all the way to T-Mobile because Verizon still works at their cottage or at their vacation home, whatever the case may be. So let me know what you think about this in the comment section down below. I look forward to reading your comments. Again, T-Mobile has a big goal to make a push into rural America. It's good to see. It's really a new segment that they're under competitive in, and everything is upside on that. Most of the numbers that they're presenting are conservative. So we'll see what the upside looks like a few years from now. So if you have been on the channel or you're new to the channel and you have not yet liked, share, subscribe, make sure you do so. Hit the notification bell so you are notified when I do upload content. Make sure to follow my social media outlets for more updates and interactions. Thanks again for watching. This is Tyrone with Tech Life. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.